afternoon and evening, and welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd, and hopefully you're enjoying your Wednesday, which is cloudy and breezy across the area. I did miss my opportunity with today's winds to say hold on to your chunky snow and too long didn't read hats, which are available. You can see those behind me, and you can order them at digitalweatherdesk.com. Most spots are continuing to see the persistent cloud cover, but it should be on its way out as we head through the overnight. Check of the visible satellite as we lose daylight on this Wednesday. Obviously, we're going to lose it a little bit faster soon as we set the clocks back on Sunday. But as promised, the cloud cover has moved back in across the region. And where we did see sunshine to start the day, the clouds rolled back in this afternoon and really kind of leveled temperatures off. We were warming nicely into the low 60s at one point in the southern parishes and counties, and then that kind of got stopped in its tracks. Check of the radar made possible by Brown's Roofing, brownsroofingla.com. You can schedule your free roof inspection there. Shows the sprawling area of showers that continues through much of the Tennessee and Ohio valleys. And even in our area, the patchy drizzle and light rain tried to hang on through much of the day. And perhaps across southeastern Arkansas and the Mississippi Valley, that's where we saw that likelihood kind of unfold this afternoon. Check of wind speeds. Hey, my wife's watching on YouTube. That means my child's watching in from across that wall or the adjacent room. But anyway, I think I just heard her say, Dada. But anyway, daytime highs in most spots landed back into the upper 50s with the cloud cover, but the winds have been the main headline this afternoon. Out of the northwest, gusts generally topped out between 35 and 40 miles per hour. I'm going to check the Louisiana Mesonet, which is operated by the University of Louisiana Monroe, just to make sure I didn't miss any late gusts that surpassed the 40-mile-an-hour mark. And it does not appear that we did. ULM saw 31-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Colfax, 35.8 miles per hour. Jonesville, 38.5. That's the highest one that I see. So, again, it was quite breezy this afternoon. Gusts in the last hour still ranging in the 25 to 35 range, even 36-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I believe both Monroe Regional and El Dorado getting to 36 or 37 through the course of the day. So, again, they'll get your attention if you step outside because the wind advisory remains in place through the next couple of hours. I want to check and make sure I didn't miss anything in terms of wind gusts. 38 is the peak wind gust at Monroe Regional, which is where we were a little bit earlier this afternoon. Again, wind advisory still in effect for about another 2 hours or so. The winds will subside after that as we settle up for another breezy afternoon tomorrow. I generally think winds will kind of vary between 5 and 15 miles an hour through the day tomorrow. I'm calling it 10 to 15 just to be kind of on the high side of things. But overall, nowhere near as breezy as they were today. But it'll still probably be noticeable at times through the afternoon. Claudia says it's cold here in Dubach. I believe you. It is chilly, especially when you factor in the cloud cover and the breeze. It's a little uncomfortable, especially for this time of year when we're not accustomed to seeing daytime highs in the 50s, and that's where most of us landed today. 59 in Monroe, 57 in El Dorado. These are unofficial, of course. 62 in Natchez, so some areas did still climb into the low to mid-60s with the sunshine before the clouds kind of rolled back in. Temperatures are still in the 50s at this hour for the most part. Winfield and Natchitoches still holding on at 60 degrees, 53 in El Dorado, 55 in Camden, and 58 in Monroe. Futurecast shows that the clouds are on the way out. By daybreak tomorrow, most of us should be greeted with sunshine, but again, low clouds can be really stubborn and pesky. So if you wake up to some clouds tomorrow, you've been forewarned. Beyond that, as we look through the rest of this week, high pressure just kind of skirts across the northern Gulf coastline, and we're watching a developing upper level system. And as it deepens across our region, could also have a surface component that generates some rain chances late Saturday into early Sunday. I'm not really oversold on this scenario, but it's a possibility, and it's something that we'll keep an eye on as we head into the weekend. It's really the only real rain chances we have over the next week to 10 days. Water vapor imagery shows the big storm system that swept through the area yesterday and the large upper low associated with it. a big slow-moving system with a surface low and the upper low kind of stacked on top of each other. They tend to move rather slowly, so that's going to be, and they're not completely vertically stacked, but they're pretty close. And as we go through the next few days, you'll see that it starts to kind of trudge off to the north and east, allows for this next deepening storm system to move in this weekend. And what that means in terms of rain chances, it is way, way too early to tell. I know it's Wednesday and this is Saturday, but this is kind of a feature in the upper level pattern, and it's really not even the Saturday-Sunday time frame that we're really kind of scratching our heads about. I do think we'll at least see some rain chances, an increase in cloud cover, but it's beyond that. And whether this evolves into another large, slow-moving upper-level system through the southeastern United States, if it were to pan out the way you see it right there on the Futurecast, which is made possible by Bayou Power Sports, I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe, if it evolves like what you see right there, I really wouldn't expect a whole lot in the way of rain chances. I would expect this dry northerly pattern to continue to funnel in some fall-like temperatures and keep us relatively quiet in the next 7 to 14 days. And coincidentally, the 6 to 10-day pattern kind of paints the same picture. The temperature outlook as we go into early November shows the potential of temperatures trending a smidge above normal for this time of year. Again, I wouldn't really get overly concerned about getting extremely hot, but probably trending near seasonal or slightly above normal as we go into early November. The precip outlook, though, shows pretty high confidence that we trend a little drier than normal. And again, that shouldn't be a big surprise after what I just showed you, that there's really not a lot of significant storm systems that are poised to churn up a lot of deep moisture before they move through our area. They kind of either develop right over the top of us or once they've moved east of us. The 8 to 14-day outlook kind of trends the same way as well, even as we go into the first and middle of the months of November. It trends us warmer than normal and relatively drier than normal. Again, these are just outlooks. They're not necessarily set in stone, but that's the trend as we go into the early half of November. I see a lot of folks complaining about how cold it is. You're not complaining, but Krista, Susie, and Denise, everybody say it's cold. It kind of is. I had to change a brake light today, and I did it all by myself. Not that it was that difficult, but I had my doubts in myself. But anyway, and I had to stand outside for like 15 minutes. It took me that long, yes. And it was uncomfortable out there. I'm also a person that doesn't like to be cold either, so it really that's the other thing. It all depends on your tolerance to cold weather. Switching gears, we pivot a little bit to just to bring you the updated look at Melissa hurricane, which is probably going to re-strengthen somewhat as it reemerges out over the open waters of the western Atlantic. Obviously, we've heard and seen what's happened with this storm in Jamaica, and then eastern Cuba saw landfall late last night, early this morning. The storm, again, starting to accelerate off to the north and northeast, but will probably gain some strength as it passes just to the west of Bermuda. No U.S. impacts are expected, but obviously travelers and tourism industries will be impacted, but really also, most importantly, is just the human lives, the folks that live there that are being impacted. So just, again, a really unfortunate situation, and we really still don't fully grasp the scope of what's happened in some of these countries, and also it's still ongoing for some of those locations as well. We switch back closer to home. Overnight lows tonight back into the upper end of the 40s. Some gradual clearing, but we will contend with cloud cover through a good chunk of the night. And if you joined us midday, that's why we're not going to see low temperatures in the low 50s or low 40s tonight. We would really see most of us bottom out if we had light winds and clear skies, and we were going to have really neither of those through a good chunk of the nighttime hours tonight. Daytime highs tomorrow should rebound for most of us back into the 60s. Some areas may get stuck in the low end of the 60s. Winds will be out of the west, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Onethia and May, good evening. Susie, again, cold-natured people. Today was not fun. But tomorrow, we rebound temperature-wise. It's only about 5 degrees warmer, but more sunshine. That, I think, makes the difference as we go into the day tomorrow. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. Shows 60s, generally, for the next several days. Morning lows in the 40s. Could see the 70-degree mark as early as Monday, but I think it's more likely on Tuesday. And then we'll probably continue that gradual warming trend essentially into the 70s through the middle parts of next week. There are signals that we could see a cold front late next week, but it is way too early to, again, speculate on a lot of those types of things. Denise says, hard way to find out that the heater is out. Yeah, that is not fun. Try to get that stuff fixed soon. The good news is that the overnight lows are not absurdly cold. They are chilly, but we're not talking about freezing temperatures or anything like that. Frost formation appears unlikely. Friday morning would be our only headache, our only potential for that. And again, I don't think most areas will get cold enough for that to be an issue. But it's something we'll keep an eye on over the next several days. And again, the rain chances are pretty conservative for the weekend. If we need to bump them up, we will do so. All right, that's a look at the forecast for today. I will join you tomorrow morning. Timing and schedule may be a little different tomorrow morning. So I'll keep you updated on that, but we'll obviously have a look at the forecast. Simply put, got to get the kiddo to school tomorrow, so got some moving and shaking. So we'll make that. Yeah, and I was about to, we're going to talk about that, Bill. He said time schedule for live broadcast would be helpful. You know, and I think we're getting kind of to a point where we may start settling on some kind of more concrete times. You know, the morning one is usually between 7:30 and 8. I think tomorrow morning will be a little bit earlier, usually right at noon for our midday stream, and then the evening stream starts usually between 4:30 and 5. I'm trying not to be as set on a schedule simply because, again, the work-life balance and sometimes life calls and you got to answer. But I think that is something, it maybe even releasing the schedule the day that day and saying, hey, the live broadcasts are going to be this time, even if they change. But I also have some stuff that we're going to work on sending out soon. I really kind of want your voice on things like a set schedule for live streams, how important it is for you to receive push alerts from me through the app, or would you rather see them more or less often? Things like that. Just kind of surveying how you guys would prefer. Again, this is still very new. We're not even 2 months in yet, so we're crawling before we walk, and then we'll walk before we run, and then hopefully we'll run one day. But I appreciate the question, and I appreciate the input, because, again, your input is what makes this work. So, again, thanks so much for the time. I'll join you first thing tomorrow morning at some point with a look at the forecast, as it looks like some very fall-like quiet days are ahead. And we'll take a look at the trick-or-treating forecast tomorrow as well, which, as you can probably deduce, should be fine. Your forecast is always available on the Digital Weather Desk app, available for Apple and Android devices, and you can always just check it out at digitalweatherdesk.com.